Hey everyone, PC Casual Gaming Dad here, back with some more research on Ashes of Creation. This is part 3 of this series. Today we're going to be covering the development updates from November 30th as well as December 22nd. So stay tuned for that. If this is your first time here, and you're interested in this game, I'm going to be doing a lot of coverage on this game moving forward. It's something I recently discovered. Feel free to check out my parts 1 and 2 of my research so far as I educate myself and interact with others who are looking to learn something new and or are even more educated than me. So I've learned quite a bit from those people. If you're watching this after the fact on my YouTube channel, please leave a like, consider subscribing for more content, for more gaming news, more streams and whatnot. We do all different kinds of games here on my channels, but the core of what it is that I cover and talk about and play here is about, I'm a casual gamer, right? I play primarily on PC, and I play for the sole purpose of enjoyment and fun. Okay, so there's plenty of people out there who are hardcore gamers and they have their thoughts and their opinions on things. I am not one of those people, and I do it for the social piece, for the enjoyment, the immersion, and just something that I'm genuinely interested in. So, without further ado, let's get going. And if you are watching this at a later time, either on Twitch or YouTube, please, take a look at my schedule. I'm going to be doing streams during the week from 12:30 to 2:30, where I'll be doing a combination of either videos or streams like this, other gaming news, gaming streams, some games that I'm interested in checking out, and then I also stream in the evenings. Currently, right now, I just started up again in the Burning Crusade Classic with friends of mine, so I'll be doing that as well at around 7:30, 8 o'clock, closer to 8. So, okay, I'm going to start with the November update, and I'm going to skip past the quick update, see if there's anything in the studio updates that's worthwhile, and then move on to the design. So,
hello everyone.
There's our R3 right here. We got Jeff, Stephen, and Margaret.
I hope that you all have had a wonderful.
Let's leave a like, support them, and the channel.
Absolutely. Oh, and by the way, I noticed a question in chat by Gail. It says, why doesn't the long alpha one test say full wipe? The reason for that is essentially as we continue moving forward past those dates, there might be spot testing that will open up, and we may want to have on that particular alpha server people at the progression points that they were at in order to test certain things. So we're not definitively saying those will be a full wipe on those alpha servers. That doesn't mean that it's going to progress into the betas. The betas will for sure have a wipe from alpha. So just to answer that. Yeah, studio update. We are continuing to work from home. We have updated kind of our time frame when we expect to be back in the studio, which is hopefully going to be around I would say February of next year. Obviously we're watching the updates.
Whoa, is just something about her eyes? Is she wearing some contacts or something? Looks trippy.
And we're trying to get this thing under control, and it is not progressing in the direction that we want.
Okay, let's go to design.
Yeah, so like Steven said, we're very hard at work right now trying to get everything buttoned up and ready to go. Obviously we have a whole new zone, so that's required a lot of population, a lot of requests, a lot of new creatures, which is pretty neat. We're seeing a lot more variance in sort of the population of our creatures in the world, and some of the stories that are going to be told there. So that's really exciting. We are hard at work doing a big stats revamp, which you won't see in this December test, but hopefully the February one, and for sure the March one. So a big rejiggering of all of our stats and how they work and how they relate to each other. Something that will be a lot closer to what our final form of stats will be. So we're trying to button up the last few things on that, and then it'll be implementation time.
Yeah, her eyes are tripping me out. Like seriously, something that's maybe it's the angle or I don't know. Something's tripping me out there.
So they're going to be creating. I feel like we've got a pretty good foundation for our combat, but in terms of like really making it sing and really making it feel like the core experience that we want from the game, it's not there yet. So this team is there, kind of trying to find the final answers there to really bring combat up to sort of the AAA experience that we expect from the game. So they're working on that. You probably won't see too much work from them again in this December thing, but you definitely will by that final date. So yeah, it's design has been a lot of fun. We've got a pretty solid big team right now, so it's nice being able to have different subgroups work on these different systems, and as we get bigger, we'll continue to do that. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's definitely a little bit stressful seeing that we are so close to that December date, but so far so good. Things are doing well. We're on track, so it should be pretty exciting to see what you guys think about it.
Sue, and she's going like that?
Yeah.
Maybe it's the lighting in her room.
And I think we might have some footage we can play in the background,
Yeah.
maybe.
I'm getting that set up right now. Transitioning. Whew. All right. That's why there was music.
We're
playing.
doing it live.
So, yeah, we'll play that video in the background. I meant to do it while I was chatting, but I think.
Oh, we can still skip out it, right?
Yeah.
Because the biome that we're working with right now is very tropical, jungly. So you'll see that.
Ooh, what is that
foliage
creature?
And some of the creatures that you'll be seeing. Here we've got a big war beast, kind of in the distance.
You should be able to
a
hear
big-
us. People are saying there's no sound. You should be able to hear us.
Oh, can you hear us talking?
Yeah, there's not supposed to be music.
Testing one.
But you
Oh,
should be
yeah.
able to hear
It
us.
looks kind of like a rhino triceratops.
Oh, okay.
There's not supposed to be sound on the video. Sorry, guys. There was just music in the video. It's
Yeah, just to give you guys an idea what you're seeing here, as Jeff was saying, is one of the new biomes. This is kind of a more tropical oriented area, but you're also seeing some of the lighting changes as well. This is all obviously in game, so you're seeing a cinematic camera on these particular shots. But you're getting to see some of the foliage changes, you're seeing some of the lighting differences. Here you can see some little pygmy goblins, and their little tribe and shaman that's kind of there, waiting to come across any wayward adventurers in their lanes. I love his mask.
I do too.
It's so good.
The goblins.
Yeah. But
Yeah, our animation team does such a good job giving our creatures character. They really kind of can stand on their own and tell their own story just by looking at them.
Yeah, it's really,
Yeah.
really good stuff. And you might have seen a sneak peek of that video when we tweeted some stuff out, we put some Facebook things out. So if you're following us on social, you might have seen some screenshots from that, or a screenshot of that, or from it, which was pretty amazing. So great job.
I don't use Twitter or Facebook currently, so I'll be following them on Twitch and YouTube only.
Good stuff. All right. Well, we're excited for Alpha 1. We've got a lot of things going on with that. And one of the other things that people have asked a lot about are like the design process for like the cosmetics and how they interact with the world. And we do have some other questions that are in our Q&A as well. So I'm just going to kind of go over like the process of creating the cosmetics, and also answer some frequently asked questions. Like one of the questions that we get a lot is, how does this help the world that we're creating here? And I think one of the things that we constantly tell people is that what these do is these help us create the creatures in the world. They help us create the NPC garb that you're going to see and things like that. You're not going to see the exact ones that we're doing for the cosmetics, because those are exclusive to those who help us. But you will see variants of those in the world. Now those variants are for NPCs, those variants are for creatures in the world. Those variants will not be attainable by other players. Just to make that very clear, they are exclusive to you. But the variants of them will be in the world, non-attainable. But that's not to say that we won't have things that are similar, that you can get of the same like style necessarily. I hope that answered that question, because we get that a lot. But yeah, so Jeff sometimes will be like, hey, I'm designing something for a jungle. Maggie, make me some jungle stuff. And I'll be like, okay, cool. But we'll make a different variant of it for the cosmetics, for the multi-cosmetics. So I'm just going to go over kind of the process, and I'm going to use it's one of the items from the next set, which is December, so you get a teaser of what the next set is, and also we'll just show you all of them as well, since we're very close. They'll be launching on December 2nd, but hopefully this answers your questions, and if you have more in chat, please just let me know. So what I normally do is I send over a presentation to Jeff that is, I'm not going to show you the entire presentation, I'm going to show you like one item example, but I'll send him like my December cosmetic request, and I usually do this like months in advance. We have a tone that we're going for, so for this December's tone we were going for gritty, cold, and icy, so that was kind of really the tone. And what I like to drive home is with Ryan Richmond, who is our kind of like lead character artist, I always tell him like, go back to that. Lead concept, yeah, concept, sorry. For instance, like when we had the previous set for November, I was like, this needs to be more jovial because it started looking really dark and kind of creepy, like the house and stuff. And I was like, no, this is supposed to be like happy and festive. And so like they kind of brought up the tone and the brightness on the colors. So for the first one, I'm going to kind of show you. Ooh, a little sneak peek. That's not what I meant to do. Here we go. This is what I'm doing. So, I usually send over one of these things, and basically this tells you what it's for. It's like an accessory. I know I leaked. It's a frozen gauntlet, and what I like to do is provide what armor slot it's going to be in. So this will be in your hand slot. What armor type it's going to be. So this is a plate. What race influence it is, and this is Renkai. What materials are going to be available. So copper, plate, ice. That's really what like we're going for. And on the right hand side you can kind of see the color palette that I'm going for all of the cosmetics. You can also see the textures and materials, and I try to provide really good examples of those. And then I kind of give like a little bit of details of what I'm thinking. So for instance, I was like copper colored plate with armored gloves. Plate has intricate designs on it that are engraved in it, encased in like a light blue ice. This ice should be part of the armor, almost like an enchantment. And then the fingernails, area of the gloves should look like a creature of sorts. And kind of I gave you some examples of these as well for them to be able to see what this is like. Now I'm going to show you the process of this, basically all the different stages that this goes through. So the first stage that I got was the left one. It was really very intricate, and I did kind of like it, but I was like, oh, it needs more ice to kind of differentiate it from what the other one was. So they added more ice, and then we're like, I don't know if that's really going to work for us because it looks too much like the costume, which is not showing up right now. Please moment. Figure out why it's not showing up. Oh man, come on. I tested this before, I promise.
We had a lot of OBS bugs today.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with OBS today. Dirt copy, I can get bit about the other part of it, which is the other part of it was we're going to talk a little bit about the diversity in visuals across choices, and then I will grab those.
Maybe they could have it so that it has a certain amount of ice, and then depending on certain circumstances or skills used, the ice can get grow or.
One of the most important things, obviously, is going to be, we have a lot of visual diversity across the cosmetics, across the biomes in the world. All of these things. Really, there's a large portion of diverse elements, and part of the artist's job really is to kind of make sure that they're all congruent, that they, all look like they fit together in this world, and that's a really delicate process. It starts really at the conceptual phase, and as it moves into the environment artists or the character artists, they're taking into account the types of materials and textures that need to be used and have to be kind of co-located to a certain region so that they make sense. Another thing that people brought up in the past is like, hey, there's a lot of different building skins that could potentially be on freeholds, and all of that is taken into account. So I think what you're going to start seeing as we move into the alphas and betas, and these types of different assets come online in these different phases, is you may initially see some some contending looks, but over time that's going to be fleshed out. It's going to be blended better together, and it's going to create not just a rich and diverse universe of possible assets that players can attain, but also that fit together within this world. Now, the objective, obviously, starting at the concept stage, forward is for us to keep the world immersive. So you're not going to see like people wearing jeans and T-shirts and
Mm-hmm.
kind of
Yes.
non-immersive assets.
Things that make you realize that I'm playing a game.
The clubwear in the game
That's
as
not
we've
immersive.
experienced in other MMORPGs. Because while we want to have fun, we also want to make sure that the immersive nature of this world, which is very visually aesthetic, beautiful world, is maintained. Um, and that's kind of the target objective, obviously. So as Margaret really kind of goes through with Jeff and comes up with these different thematic sets throughout the months, the artists take those sets which are constructed, and as Margaret was saying, they will create alternatives that get introduced through NPCs, that get introduced through enemies you may face. And in addition, there's going to be alternatives that can be achieved in-game. These aren't cosmetics that are purchased necessarily, but they can also be achieved in-game through kind of rewards and achievements and stuff. And that creates a large, diverse, capable, essentially structure for the world that the artists have access to as they're creating new assets moving forward in the development of the game. Sorry, was that jumping you well?
Okay.
I think we have to keep going.
Okay, got it. I will keep going. Yeah.
Got it almost set up here, and then
Why don't you talk about as design has been essentially populating these 12 different zones that are in the Alpha 1 location, how fun it's been to work with a more diverse set of creatures that you've been throwing in there.
It's real nice. Like it's kind of hard to tell a story sometimes when you've got like 6 different variants of creatures that you've got. We've got a ton now, and it really kind of amps up the story. We can set up zones to have a particular population and relationships between the populations that are there that we couldn't really do before. It helps us to kind of establish an identity. This is a rather large tropical area, and what we use some of the creatures for is kind of like establishing character for different parts of this tropical place. So that even though like it's all the same biome, it feels different when you're going from place to place based on what's there, and sort of like how those things are interacting with the environment.
Right.
So.
To expand on that just a little bit, by the way, guys, from an expectation standpoint, when you're going to start seeing stuff out of Alpha 1, we actually just recently, I think as of like 2 weeks ago or a week ago, switched off of the Alpha 0 Island build from the map perspective and have started actually now in the testing that we're doing internally, moved over to the full Alpha 1 map, which is about, I think if you include the exterior areas, it's almost 100 square kilometers of
It's real
space.
big.
It's pretty big. So it's intended to be between 1/5 and 1/4 the size of the map, but it's very large. Now, the location we chose for Alpha 1 on the main map is more of an island tropical area. I don't know if we've actually revealed where it is on the main map.
I don't think we have actually.
Okay. Well, I'll give you a hint. It's in the top left-hand corner area
All of them are
on
gonna be
the
looking.
world map. I know, they're all going to be looking. And the world map. And we don't actually have, we were hoping to have ships online by December. We will have some ship usage available in the later tests, like February and or March for sure. But in December, we're going to be, testers will notice that there's going to be some teleport NPCs that are going to be present because there's intended to be a lot of island hopping, and there's not a vehicle to hop with at the moment yet, so at least that's not working reliably. So in December, you're going to see some teleport usage between the different islands and stuff like that.
Try not to get used to it because it's a temporary fix for the water problem. Once we get ships in, then the teleporters will be pulled
No more
out.
teleporting.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we just want to be able for you to be able to like test things quickly.
There will be some swimming mounts. You could technically swim, but that would be quite a trek on a mount without a ship. So
Yeah, the distances are pretty great at some point.
How far from one end to the other would it be, you think?
you mean
Of this current map that they're going to be able to test on?
in kilometers or in time travel?
On both? Or
Oh,
not both?
I think it's probably. I think it is 10 kilometers. It's 10-kilometer trek across, right? If you're not going diagonally, and then that would probably take about, I don't know, if you're moving at
You're
distance
probably
speed
at
of
30
7.
minutes.
Yeah, I'd say at least 30 on the mount.
There you go. All right, I can show the thing now. I got it all set up. Sorry about that.
Oh, okay, cool.
If you guys are good for that.
Yeah.
So, going back to where I was, sorry about that. Obviously, these are the two phases, and this was kind of what I had asked for, but I think as we were looking at it, I ended up thinking that
Almost
maybe
looks like
we
Wolverine
wanted
claws.
it was too close to what our set looks like. So this is the costume set for this month, and that accessory looked a little bit too much like it. And so I actually was talking with Ryan Richmond, and I was like, I think that maybe this is kind of the direction I'd like to go, is making it more like the creature for the set, which is the pet. And I'll show you the pet. So this is the pet, and I was like, what if like you took the pet's like their arm and made it into like an armor glove, like how epic that would be. And so we went with that.
Yeah, you'd be
and we had
matching.
Dave,
Too bad.
who's the concept artist, swap over to that, and that's when we ended up with this. So that's kind of like the process. It goes a little bit back and forth. Sometimes there's a lot more back and forth than other times, but there will be like 2 or 3 different phases of what an item looks like. For instance, I know you guys love the snores, like aka our lovely snail, horse-looking thing, and that went through a couple different phases. And actually, I had it more of like a translucent pearlescence kind of color, and Steven popped in and was like, oh, I think it should be like more colorful than that. And so we kind of swapped the color on it. So sometimes it's just a color change, sometimes it's like a completely different item. Like this looks completely different than the original one. Not to say that we wouldn't make one that's like the original, but the original to me looked too much like the costume set. And I wanted to kind of give it its own look. And of course, we're just going to show you the other ones just because, you know, so the building that we're going to have is this really icy, cold building. If we got some Renkai out there, or aspiring Renkai orcs, this will be probably your jam. Or I think it's more Vec than Renkai. Or Vec, right?
Yeah, this is Vec.
Yeah, there's some Vec folks out there. I was like, actually, this is Vec. And this is the mount. So it's
Cool.
going to be that icy theme. And one of the other things is that we also have some body types and rigs that I'm working with too. So Chris Atkins and Chris Myers kind of give me all the options I have. They're like, these are the kind of bodies that you can use. So I try not to differentiate too far from those things so that I'm not putting extra work on them to create new models unless they are like down with it. For instance, like the fox. I had the fox one. I had to be like, 2 tails, is that okay? Because technically we don't have a rig for 2 tails, but they were down with it because they were both like, it's too cool, we need it. And of course the caravan pulled by our lovely.
Oh my god, it's a lot of lumber.
Yeah, all lumber. So if you're thinking about
Cold
being a
lumber.
lumberjack or something of that sort, this is probably a cool skin for you to have on your caravan for sure. Yeah, so that's kind of like the design process. I don't know if you have anything to add to that, Jeff, because really me and you go back and
I mean,
forth.
I think you
Not
covered
too
it pretty
much.
well, right? Like it's mainly about establishing theme and making sure that we haven't repeated ourselves, and that we're always kind of pushing the story forward too. We sometimes find out some neat things about the story as we're creating these items.
Oh yeah, there's
and we
lore.
can, so there's always a lot of lore that we go back and forth on, and making sure that we're staying within established canon, and we're not pushing it out too far. But it's really a lot of fun. You find out a lot about the story through these items, especially with where we're at in the process. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, and sometimes it's like I go, hey, I really want to make like a witch or something like that, and then Jeff will go, hey, but this doesn't make. This is kind of what witches are like in our world, and so like I have to kind of
She was
create
dressed like a
something and
witch
design something that's going to fit well.
when we
with
did this
what
yesterday.
His vision is as well.
'Cause it was the
as far
October
as, like,
stream.
the lore, goes as well. So it's like a lot of back and forth, and sometimes, like Jeff was saying, the lore gets created through these things too. So it's a lot of fun going back and forth between this.
Yeah, especially when we're talking about like holidays and stuff, and it's like, okay, what do the people on Vera like? What do they think about this time of year, right? How do they
Yeah.
approach it? How do they think about it? So it forces us to like think a lot more about like the cultures of what we're building in a sort of, I don't know, more intimate way than we would otherwise, which is nice.
Yeah, like the Verdict Keeper kind of was created like a couple years ago or a year ago, or I think it's a year ago, when we were talking about what that festivity is going to be like. And, we came up with all these little tiny things that the Verdict Keeper does and what things happen during that fall season and coming into the holidays and things like that. So it definitely kind of fleshes out other things too. So it's yes, you're helping support the game in a lot in a plethora of ways through lore, through creating the world itself, through these items and these creatures. So it's not going to waste because a lot of people are like, why are they spending time doing this? And it's like, well, you're not really wasting time. It's all stuff we're going to do anyway.
This is how you build the world.
Yeah.
And this is how people get to be a part of that process. So it goes hand in hand with the transparent development process. You guys getting a look inside, the creation of an MMORPG.
It's very appreciated.
You get to see every step of the way.
That development process. Yeah. Not a lot of companies do what they're
Of
doing.
course, if people have questions, they
Not
can
a
let
lot.
us know. Will you be able to easily dye your armor or other colors? I think we've talked about that before. Some pieces will be dyeable in certain parts. So we'll have dyeing on certain armor. Some won't, some will. You'll have
Yeah. By the way, I noticed everybody saying my lighting looks. I apologize, but for some reason in the December and January time frame of the year, like the sun just hits the perfect spot in the window that can't like be obstructed, and it burns me. Like I'm like a vampire normally, but this just burns me. So
I was gonna say your lighting's always messed up unless it's nighttime.
I know.
We need to stream during the nighttime. That's like the best
Yeah.
time for Steven. Okay, all right. Anything else that you want to add on the design side? We talked a bit about the journey to Alpha 1, things that are going on the design side. We showed off like a cool video of in-game, some footage of that, as well as obviously talking about the process of creating cosmetics because people have been asking about those. Or not even cosmetics, just items in general. So, moving on to environments, if we're cool with that.
Sounds good to me.
Cool. All right. We've got a lot of stuff for environment, so I'm going to move on over to that. So first and foremost, you guys remember that big rock that was in our previous one? Well,
Yes, I do.
In game, and also in the far right, you can see a little tiny gray box ship, and that is the size of your ship. So this kind of gives you the scale.
I was
of how
like, it's
massive
right
this
here.
thing is.
Right here.
So yeah, and I think I have a couple images of this.
It's your ship.
And this is kind
Oh,
of like
very
This is-
cool. Yes, I
This
remember.
is just an example.
This is the rock right
of,
here that was in it.
how
This whole thing I'm
strategically
outlining.
environments are created, right? These level designs, so to speak, to incorporate what we anticipate players are going to encounter, right, as they're here in these areas. So it's likely.
I think this is really educational for those of us who aren't in this field, right? Are not developers, to see the work that goes into the creation of a game. It allows you to understand and appreciate.
Harbor locations will be strategically placed in order to utilize these types of structures. Should there be shipping raids on trade ships? Should there be conflicts? Should there be node sieges? There's now going to be an interesting element of essentially these structures that can inhibit ship movement, that can provide cover, that can do a lot of fun things for the players to kind of take advantage of or utilize. So you're going to see this prevalent across the world, really. But here's one of the examples in this particular alpha area that is going to be a lot of fun, I think, for ships.
Yeah, it's really cool. So I'm excited for everybody to experience these things in walking around the world.
Not to mention the gliding opportunities here. If you have gliding mounts, right? Some mounts can glide, and you jump off of that thing with your gliding mount. I think that would be pretty cool, too.
Don't jump off of it without it, because you might die.
That's true.
People go like falling damage. Yes,
There
will
is
be
fall damage, yes.
And moving on from there, we have some really cool kind of like jungle plants and things of that sort.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that was knocks it out of the park.
And like some of these are like growing on rocks and stuff. It's so sick. And I
Absolutely.
I have one in here for scale.
I can't tell
too.
if that's a picture, like a real life picture, or if that's the game.
It's definitely the game, but you can see the little guy, the little
Player.
person, and the scale of how massive some of these are. So yes, very lovely stuff coming from the wonderful Mia. And of course we have some Kalar tents. So we have some Kalar things being built. You've probably been seeing a lot of Kalar armor and things like that too. So slowly venturing out. We've been seeing a lot of dwarf stuff lately, but now we're moving on to Kalar and Imperium things as well. So here are some tents that are being created.
Yeah, and as you're kind of looking at these particular assets, you can go back, about a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, and take a look at some of the, camp assets that we used to use for Kalar, and kind of see how the art and assets progress further, right? Like these are much more detailed, and they've moved forward with the project, right? And it's pretty, I think, an interesting idea to kind of see progression of the world and how these cultures are continuing to come to life.
Yeah, and especially with our node work that's going in. Actually, I don't know if you guys have talked about how many nodes people are going to experience. Do you want to talk a little bit about that for the alpha?
In this alpha, I think we talked. Didn't we talk
There
about? Or was that the
was a
PI
It's
chat?
PI chat.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's going to be nine nodes throughout this area of space that players will be able to interface with. Now, it is important to note that these node locations will change after Alpha 1. You're really not going to see the definitive node placements until probably the first beta, I would say.
Makes sense.
And we're okay with that because, while it's beneficial for us to test, at the same time, we want to make sure that we're not really kind of revealing so much to the player base prior to the game launch, then we have to, so to speak. In beta, obviously, we have to.
And that's 9 for the Alpha 1 test.
That's 9 for
April.
Alpha 1.
April.
That's correct.
April.
Yeah.
Just being clear, not in the December test.
Well, I
right?
believe in
December
December there's 9 as well.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
Perfect. Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
All right, moving on from there, we also have miscellaneous items. So this one is a kind of a little fireplace. Obviously, our junior brethren have created this wonderful piece. And then we've got another one, cooking place.
Oh yeah.
And also,
These are examples of in-housing furniture craftables.
Dwarven.
These, that players are capable of adding to their home, and each of them will have their own, specific benefit that aids in either profession work or just daily adventuring. That as you build up your infrastructure, you'll have access to as a player.
and then of course we have a well, and a bathtub, because everybody
Why not?
needs a golden bathtub. I love
Heck
it so
yeah!
much.
The
It's so
bathtub's
cool.
great.
I know. I want this bathtub like IRL.
Like one of the great things that I have would love to see in a game, and it's really more RPG oriented than so much MMOs we've experienced, but like let's say you do craft this particular bath, and perhaps as your alchemist profession you've concocted some special type of soap, right? If you use those two things in conjunction, maybe you get a buff as a player for a period of time after
A good
that.
smelling
A
buff.
good smelling
Right,
for your
and
your
it unlocks unique shop items with NPCs that you interact with, or gives you different quest opportunities within your organizations and societies. Like these are the things that I think
Players
add
are gonna
flair
be-
to the RPG
Have
element,
better
kind
hygiene
of
in game than they do in
immersive
real life.
Playing side of things that are really fun to experiment with.
Everybody's
So-
gonna be bathing themselves in fountains and stuff like that now. Like maybe I might get a buff if I just
Right.
go into this fountain. I will warn you: don't go in the water that looks like green and foggy, though. You will die.
It's true.
You get a charisma modifier. I'm just saying.
You will die. And then of course we have some more chests and stuff like that. You've seen quite a few of these. Obviously we are going to be making a lot of them because you're going to want to put lots of chests in your house to keep all your fat loot. So
Yeah, these are just examples of the different ornate types of chests that players will be able to to both craft through their furniture side of things and or purchase along with their home. And obviously the different capacity and ornate setting, the ornate nature of the chest will determine its capacity and
Or
value.
maybe it's a mimic, and then it jumps out and eats you.
Oh my gosh, that's ruthless.
And we have one more
Mimics are
thing.
nasty.
It's going to be a video. So I'm going to play on this video, and I actually would love for guys to kind of like talk a little bit about this. Obviously, I know this is more the environment folks, but this video, to preemphasize, it is more of like how the lighting process works and things like that. So yeah, I'll show.
Yeah, let's take a look.
So you'll see in a moment the placement of like where the sun is and things of that sort, and where rises, and you can kind of see how it
Now
affects
this,
the light and shadow.
just to put in context, this is not a cinematic camera that you're seeing right now. This is actually footage in editor. So I think this is Devin, who is going through and showing the dynamic lighting settings of the world, right? So essentially in previous testing, we've kind of kept that time of day static, because, you know, for those of you who don't know, lighting is a very, very important element of really how textures and materials look in an environment. And
It definitely is.
sometimes when you're still kind of nailing down how that lighting is going to work, it can affect the process of your production artists, your character artists, and your environment artists who are creating props for the world, who are creating foliage, and trees,
That's really
you know,
cool.
armor sets, and skin tones, hair. You know, lighting really touches all of that. So
Especially on
we kinda kept
a
it
surface
static
like
in the
water.
past because we weren't yet nailed down. You know, we didn't have it as much of a priority to touch the lighting early on, and this has been some of the work done on the dynamic aspect of not just the clouds and the skyline, but also, you know, the different times of days that are going to be experienced through the world essentially. And you know, we're not going with a baked lighting aspect, we're going with a dynamic lighting aspect, so you know, it can be a little bit costlier, but at the same time it really adds a type of mood that you would come to expect with the aesthetic that you're seeing here in a game like Ashes of Creation. So yeah.
I thought this would be kind of a cool thing. Obviously, I'm trying to continually take you guys behind the scene, but at the same time, it has to be something that like Steven approves and that the team is happy with and they want to share. But I thought this was kind of a cool behind the scenes of how like lighting works from the design or for the development side.
Yeah. It's very
Jeff, do you wanna
interesting.
say something?
Again, as
Well, I
someone
was just gonna
who's
say
not
that
in
the
development
clouds is just
would have no idea the work
I
that goes
love
into
it.
these things.
Especially the sunset time. Like, that's so beautiful.
Yeah, who did the work on the clouds? I think that was Brian Gantz. I think was working on the clouds.
Yeah, I think so. Him and Jim were working together on that.
Yeah,
for a
we
while.
we tried early on in APOC to touch the clouds a little bit, and we just found that it was very costly to create these very volumetric, you know, flying through the clouds per se. So we couldn't get away with some of the, you know, more gimmicky kind of presentations when you don't have to fly through the clouds per se. But here I really like the look of these clouds. They kind of they set a good mood, I think, especially in that sunset
I'd agree.
perspective.
It's beautiful. I want to live there. Let's go on an island vacation. All right, and with that, we are going to swap over to our character art.
Oh, I would like to clear something up. That the Varen planet is not flat. So you may not see a curvature on the horizon in this, but from a lore perspective, the universe in Varen does adhere to some basic physics and laws of physics that we experience in the real world, which means it is not
you know,
flat. I'm
there's
so
going to
sorry.
be a group of people who are going to name their guild
I know,
Flat
the
Earth
Varen Flat Earth Society, absolutely. No,
Flat Varen Society.
For it. Do it RP.
Most people are just
I'm into it.
wrong.
Toast will make sure that you let us know. I love it. Oh, one of the other things that people were asking is, oh man, I forgot what it was going to be. If I remember it, I'll ask again. I try to like remember like a lot of the things that you guys asked because you asked a lot of similar questions. Moving on to character here. You've seen the bog brute. It's cool for me because I like design these creatures and I
very
get
cool.
to see them and they look so cool.
Very
the
muscular.
log fruit in look how magical this is. Awesome.
Looks pretty tanky,
I always
pretty tough.
think about this creature when I was designing it. I was thinking about like a creature that is under the water, or like lives under the water and like walks under, and like all you see is like the top part with like little bits of like seaweed almost and little mushrooms, and then you're standing on it, and he just stands up, and you're like, oh, standing on top of this giant.
Dang.
But like
He's gonna kick my ass.
It's gonna be a little pet, and it will be tiny.
Yeah, we did
You'll
talk
see the
about that.
full-size ones in the world.
Yeah, you'll
Little
see
full-size
full-size examples
They'll
of this
look
kind of.
different than this because there'll be a different variant of
Right.
him. But yeah, he's pretty beefy boy. I love it. So cool.
Beefy boy.
And then of course we have a new little guy here, which is our noble warhorn.
Looks kind of like a smaller version of the War Beast.
Warhorn.
Warhorn,
I
so.
love his face.
Garanghorn.
Oh yeah.
Good boy.
Who's working on this? Was this Danny?
I think so. It's one of the newer folks.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks good. I like the detail on the model.
The T-pose makes the tail look really funny.
Oh man, somebody
and then
yawning.
this one is-
Slept pretty good last night. Oh yeah.
And I think
That's
you'll
what we're
see
talking
this
about.
dragon in a more like fiery look, like almost like lava dragon vibe. But now you're seeing it in its forest.
Very cool. I want
Yeah,
that.
so well, the lava
I want
one,
that.
that was a different dragon model.
Yeah.
So this is more of an elder dragon look. That other dragon had some different types of influences. It had more of a kind of a bat
Like that
kind of
wing.
look to it. It had that
I like
kind
it.
of thin wings.
I like
it also
it.
had it where the wings were really
Love
used
green,
in kind of
so.
movement and walking. This, however,
Looks
is a
very
far
cool.
more
Love the
traditional elder
horns,
dragon look. This
the
is
wingspan.
particularly within a biome of a forest and or jungle type location.
Yes.
So I don't know if you have
Pretty
any
terrifying to
slides for
run into
either.
something like
Okay,
that.
that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, but he's much
Animation
more
is
weighted.
similar.
His animations are much more weighted. He's heavier. He's slower. He's a very big boy.
Chris Myers is a perfectionist. I don't think he was ready to share those yet with me. But yeah, this is pretty sick. And then moving from here, we're going to move on to some armor. So first, we're going to be looking at some Kalar cloth,
Ooh.
and I think we've shown some versions of these in the past, like work in progress, as well as concept art. But now you're seeing them actually here. So there's cloth,
I
and
think-
then we have leather.
Now these are, I believe, these are level 10 or 20. I don't know. Jeff, do you know?
I think they're 5 to 15.
5 to 15. Okay. So these are not a part of any cosmetic set. So these are, I think, in-game achievable kind of armor pieces that players can get. And this is the more traditional kind of Kalar influence.
And then we have the Imperium. I'll switch over to this. So this is the tier 1 set right here. And then
Oh,
I
yeah.
have the Gmail. And then I have the tier 2, which you can see like definitely is a little bit of armor upgrade there.
Yeah, absolutely. These look great.
I wonder how many
Yeah,
tiers
the
they're gonna
Imperial
have.
influences here, and then you did see on the previous one the kind of cape overflow. We did recently. I think Brian Gans also was working on capes a little bit and got them back up to speed from where they were in APOC, but for the MMO.
And then from there we've got the turnabout for the Imperium. You can see it in 3D. And also the lighting. It's so cool. I love how you can like almost see your reflection in other people's armor. So
Now this is level 20, I believe. Is that?
Yeah.
this is the tier 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we have some more Imperium armor here. Like the tier. And then the lava. I think this one's still a work in progress, so
Yeah.
be aware of that.
But you can see kind of the individual pieces here between the chest plate, the wrists, the pauldrons that you have, the belt. These are all obviously created in such a way that players can mix and match as they achieve different armor pieces within the game and really diversify, I think, the customization options that players have when kind of determining their outfits. Obviously, there are set bonuses, and the set bonuses scale with each piece kind of that you add to the set itself. So you can mix and match and get some, minor set benefits based on the complement of that particular set you're wearing. So you could potentially see like 3 or 4 set minor bonuses, or you could go full throttle with one set and its maximum bonus benefits.
And there will be a system like a transmog, like we have talked about. I mean, people keep asking, like you will be able to add a cosmetic onto certain pieces. So if an item has a cosmetic slot, you'll be able to put a cosmetic on there. So if you want to make your armor look like a different piece of armor, you can kind of do that to some extent. It depends on what it is.
Yeah, like there's you can take individual pieces, and some of them will have the ability to transpose the visual appearance of that piece with another piece, or you'll have an overarching visual change, which is a one-piece costume that is potentially you can achieve and or purchase, and that will override the visual appearance of all set pieces.
And then this last one, I don't know. I want to make sure I get Stephen's approval on it. Is as the staff of the ancients. If you're okay with me sharing that, we have teased a lot of ancient stuff. If you tune into our live stream, there were some goals that were achieved, and you guys knocked it out of the water. We reached all of them, and so Stephen showed a little bit of the art of the ancients and talked a bit about it, which is in our recap. So definitely go tune into that if you want to check that out and listen.
So this is just one weapon, by the way. It's not the staff of the ancients per se. It's a
Can I
staff.
show it?
Yeah, you can show it.
Okay.
Oh, cool. Oh. Sparkly, pretty.
Yeah, so what you kind of see in the staff design. Obviously, there's an emissive component that reflects kind of that corrupt nature of the ancients, but you'll see that it actually lines through the curvatures of the staff as well. And I had spoken in the past about how souls act as conduits for essence, essentially, which is the energy that's used to manipulate magic, either for good or for evil. But some of the, as those conduits can be restructured in a sense. They can be molded, shaped, and changed to have focuses on particular types of magic. And here in the curvature and design of the staff, you'll see that it has a very specific and unique looking type of mold, so to speak. So there could be some relationship between these designs of the staffs and the weapons that you'll see, which are used to harness and focus the use of the essence or magic, and how perhaps those structures relate to the types of magic that those creatures are using.
All right. And with that, we are onto our Q&A. So, our first question is going to be from Neurotoxin and Katak. We had 2 people who asked this, which is about overgearing. Based on the recent dev discussions regarding overgearing, what are the team's current thoughts on gear use, access, and constraints?
I think we're going relatively traditional in the gear access points by kind of being driven by level tier that players will have access to. So as you advance in your adventuring class, you will begin to unlock the ability to equip gear of a higher level. I don't know, Jeff, you want to expand on that a little?
No, I mean that's the plan currently. There's a lot of discussions we've had back and forth in terms of how we want to manage player power, and so that's sort of where we've landed right now. It's a easy way to throttle and set expectations for what a given character's power level can be at a given level. Obviously, I think all of us love overgearing. I think it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of games that have done it really well. But with the number of levers that we already have on this game, we kind of wanted to make it easier on ourselves in order to help create like power level expectations for a given character, and sort of have mins and maxes that we can balance around. So that's where we are right now. Now that doesn't mean that won't change later on down the road. But it's kind of
question is from Suxky and Logan in the forums as well, and this is about cosmetics. Could you please elaborate on the philosophy behind why a cosmetic skin can only be applied to one character at a time?
Yeah, absolutely. So cosmetics, when we're talking about purchasable cosmetics, um, really the idea there is the meaning of those cosmetics in some way is augmented by its exclusivity. And that exclusivity translates not only in sometimes a limited quantity and or limited time frame, but also in limited application as well. Um, we want to make sure that because we're a non-box purchase game, meaning there's no box price to play Ashes of Creation, it is only a subscription. That's beneficial because it reduces the barrier of entry, and we want a high population, obviously. But at the same time, one of the ways we augment the revenue flow to sustain constant updates and new chapter releases and additional content within the game is through a cosmetic-only marketplace. That means absolutely no pay-to-win whatsoever, and that will be adhered to forever. But kind of providing these limited options that a lot of collectors out there like when it comes to achieving and or purchasing cosmetics. It means something, I think, when players make that decision to either purchase or they go through the rigorous portion of achieving those things in game, that it is not just everywhere around them and becomes meaningless at that point. Could I guess the question is,
you also need to have an item before you can put these cosmetics on it. So, like, you can't just put this cool-looking armor on, like, a level 1 armor. Like, you'll have to attain the same level armor. And we'll have more details about, like, what those are as we get further along, too.
So the costumes, actually, just to be clear, the costumes don't really have a level restriction on them. You could apply them to lower level armor. Transmogs, there will be specific rules when it comes to taking different armor pieces and applying those visuals to certain armors. And the same is true for, let's say, mount skins. Mount skins do require, yes, there to be a specific type of mount achieved. But yeah, that gives a little bit of explanation.
Cool. Did you have anything to add to that? No? You had like a thinky
Nope.
face for a moment.
I was thinking, and then Steven answered what I was going to say. So.
Perfect. Sorry, I might have given a little bit of not context there with my answer. Jalon wants to know.
And
It's
actually,
a really sick war beast,
I'm sorry,
honestly.
let me add that to one last
Be
thing.
sick if you could ride on that thing.
Sorry. Is it true that as a company we could make more money if we did not have limited time cosmetics, and those cosmetics could be purchased at any point going forward? Absolutely. From a pure business standpoint, we could. But I'm a collector at heart, and in games I've played in the past, I have been
Just looking at your creepy dolls behind you.
Oh, what?
Your collection of creepy dolls.
Yeah, exactly. Those are John's collection. Sorry. I have been duped in the past. Right. I've told this story in the past. There was this one game I played, and there was this bear skin, and I really wanted the bear mount to because I had like 2 or 3 other types of bears, and this was I'd never seen this bear before, and I was like, ooh, I want that bear. And they only gave it through boxes. You had to buy a bunch of boxes, and they were like, I don't know, like $10 a box or something. And I think I had spent like $400, and I didn't get the frickin' bear, and I was I don't know how much I spent. I spent a lot of money on it. And they released the bear again, like 2 months later on the marketplace. You could just buy the bear directly for like $20. I was so mad. I was so angry. I don't know if I quit at that point. No, I quit when they introduced something else. Sorry. But I was so pissed. So one thing that, yes, it's true. We could make more revenue as a company from a business decision standpoint if we continue to sell cosmetics that we create later on and stuff. But we're not going to do that. And the reason we're not going to do that is because from a collector spirit, you want exclusivity and limited aspects of these things, because it's cool to know that there's a downside to it too, because if you didn't find out about the game until months later, yeah, you're SOL. But at the same time, like, you want that type of integrity in the company that's providing this game, because you know that when future stuff comes out, you will be safeguarded from what I had to go through in another game.
It's the same thing with sales and knowing like when to put them up. Like if you sell something full price the first week and then like you're like on sale the next week, the people who bought it the week before are going to be upset, right? Like it's
Yeah.
there's a lot of companies
Yeah.
that will be really cheesy and feels gross as a player.
I will say, however, that experience I had with the cosmetic thing, that wasn't the worst experience of a company. The worst experience I had was when
Steven's just
they-
dishing it.
No,
Do we need
you know,
some
whatever.
tea?
I'm
Like I
not
feel
even
like
gonna get into it.
I
I'm not
need
even gonna get
need
into
some
it.
tea.
I'm not gonna get into
No,
it.
no.
Sorry, go to the next one.
You can if you want.
No, what was Joel's question?
Alright, Jelon. The question is loot rules. Can you share more details on loot rules, such as why there is no free-for-all looting and how need before greed will work if any class can use any weapon and armor?
There will be free for all.
Yeah.
By free for all, you mean essentially on pickup, whoever picks it up. Yeah, that's an option. Go ahead, Jeff.
Oh, I was just gonna say like the loot rules if you're talking about previous alphas that you may have played. Yeah, we didn't have those set up, but they should be coming online here. If not this one, then
I
next
don't think
one.
it's it's definitely not December. I
I
think
know
actually.
engineers been working on them, but I don't think they're ready.
I think I
But-
deprioritized that for December. I think that's going to be either February or March. Yes, but the idea behind loot mechanics is to have as wide a range as you've probably ever experienced in MMOs previously. So we're either going to be at that level or wider. But the idea is for there to be a lot of administrative function that's delegated to either the party leader or by, I think there's even going to be a by vote option or the raid leader, and you can determine those looting rules.
They really want to know, Steven. They really
What?
want to know what your
Oh
worst
my gosh. I
experience
think
was.
I've told this in the story in the past. But okay. I will do it real quick.
Do it real quick.
There was a shop in this game that I
Do it
played,
real quick.
and there was a particular resource that was in the game that players had to harvest through normal means of acquiring, seeds to, plant trees, and these trees could be
He
converted
doesn't want to tell
over
us.
to a
Doesn't want to tell
particular
us.
type of tree that was like the base resource mechanic for progression within these tractors and vehicles and whatnot, and people built their entire economy in the game. It was a player-driven economy. They built their entire economy in the game around being able to, capitalize on the low chance of these trees becoming this particular resource. And the company, I guess, needed money or
This is
whatever,
end of
and
November.
decided to introduce a particular type of tree through the cash shop.
I'm going to be going into the
that had
December
like a
one next.
60%, yeah, that had like a 60 or 70% chance of additional procking into this particular resource.
How you doing, by the way?
And
Good to
it
see you
just,
again.
I'm sure it made a lot of money for them, but it completely destabilized the economy. And whenever you destabilize an economy, you lose your player base. And when you lose your player base, it's just a compounded issue because it's a highly guild-driven game. When friends leave the game, other friends lose interest in
Fair.
playing the game, and it's just a cascading effect of failure that can occur. Now, the game was already super, pay to win, whatever. You kind of had to pay to win in order to develop in the
I'm
game.
pretty
But it
good.
was just
It's
a
this
final
beautiful
straw
70
in
degrees
that of letting players progress
outside,
forward over 2
and
years in a particular
I've already
economic,
got
point of the game, and then
12,500
introduces the cash
steps,
shop
and the day is young,
instrumental
and
within the game, and it's just
I
such a
ran an
terrible-
errand,
I don't know. But anyways,
and
Obviously, our end,
yeah, had a good
developers
breakfast, and
being able
can't
to
complain.
Drive our own product. We don't want players to experience that, so we have vowed that we won't have play to win or pay to win.
I really like that War Beast.
correct.
Just know I'm gonna be able to get that amount. It's too big.
Yeah.
Play to
So
win.
just a little heart to heart there.
Okay.
Our next question here is from Nick Shave and
I'll listen to one more question.
who wants to know gears, and this is about gears.
Yes, I am in Cali.
Will certain combat stats be tied to specific gear? Example, agility only on leather, or will all gear have a chance to have all stats?
I think all gear will have an opportunity to have all stats and or certain types of influences. Sorry about that.
Crafters will be able to rejigger stat blocks, and there'll be a couple of other ways to kind of move things around to kind of create the
That's a good question. It's a fair question.
That block that you're looking for. It's not always going to be easy. There'll be a lot of challenges involved with that. But yeah, the goal is to, give you guys the option to customize your gear the way you want them.
Right. And remember.
Okay. There's quite a bit of questions left. I'm not going to listen to all the questions. I'm going to move on here to December because I've been going for about an hour now, and I want to make sure I have enough time to go through this one as well. So I'm going to do that. Let's leave a like. You're in good old Texas, huh? I got a sibling over there who's trying to get me to move. What part of Texas, if you don't mind me asking? I got a brother that's in Houston right now. Actually, I visited him not too long ago.
Hello, everyone, and welcome.
We have a new face here.
Wave in unison. Welcome
And
to
the order's
our
different.
December stream.
Usually they're here,
at
here.
Intrepid Studios on
Okay.
the Ashes of Creation project. We're very happy
Rockport,
to have you with
Texas
us once
area.
again
Okay.
in our amazing holiday season. We hope that you all are staying safe,
What,
warm, and healthy.
Is that, excuse my ignorance, geography is not my strong suit.
We are missing
West,
just
east,
slightly.
north,
We're
south.
missing Margaret
Which
Crowe.
part of
She is
Texas is
on
that? Like, what's the
vacation. You are
next
in
big
the
major
hands
city?
of this amazing
Houston is about 3 hours from you. Okay. Is it 3 hours? So Austin is about almost a few hours west of Houston. So by the Gulf. Okay. It's in the south. Okay.
Hey, can they hear us? Do we know? Are we actually live?
Can you hear us?
Do we have any sound?
Hey gamer, hope all is well. Hey.
Yes.
Hey Truth.
We
Oh my
do.
God, Jeff,
um,
are you wearing the same?
Doing great, you know.
Are you guys wearing the same shirt?
Austin is also 3 hours from now. Oh wow, okay, yeah. Okay, a different direction.
Bad.
Interesting, yeah.
I thought I had a sweater. I know I told you.
I'm good, Truth.
I
I'm
know
good.
I told Sarah I had a sweater.
You know, I was just
And I
telling
swear
Saint,
I
you know,
record this morning and I
beautiful
didn't
70-degree
apologize.
weather over here in Cali, and
Yeah. Oh yeah.
you
I
know,
don't know if I technically have one.
I just finished my semester, so I'm
I could only find a Baratheon
off
game
right
room.
now. I have some more time. Kids are still in school, so I'm just taking some time to
Exactly.
learn a little bit about this very, very intriguing game.
Margaret has prescribed to me a way forward, but before we go on the whole topic thing, let me introduce our, not panelists, but our fellow co-host. There you go, that's it.
I'll be a panelist.
Yes. So I have with me, and I don't have the lower thirds, I apologize, I don't know where they went, but I have with us today Sarah, our amazing senior community manager, Lieutenant Toast herself.
Yes,
Oh,
hello, everyone.
that's Toast. Okay, there we go.
Online, most people
I'm one of the hurricane 4 years ago, still recovering from storm damage.
just for chat.
At least the area is.
I'm probably the one to chat with.
I didn't live here then. Oh, okay.
Regular
Wow.
recurring star, Mr. Jeffrey Clark
Yeah,
himself.
okay, so now I have a pretty good idea of what you're talking about, because,
Buddy.
you know, my brother,
And I am your host
has been in
with most.
Texas
I'm
for,
the captain now.
he was then around that time, so I'm aware
So we
of
have
what
a lot
happened
of
there.
fun stuff to chat with you all
Okay,
about
so we got
today.
Toast
Um,
in.
we
Let's go to design
So
update.
we have a good amount of footage we're going to show you. It's predominantly actually a small boss fight, a little boss fight, level 10 boss fight. Jeff, who worked on these twins?
That was Amy and Bucky, both of them relatively new hires. They did a fantastic job setting all this up, working with animation and our FX team to kind of make this all work.
Notice
together.
Steven drinks
So,
Evian.
yeah,
He's
super
always got that bottle of
proud
Evian.
what They still want to do with it.
I've been here in Texas about 9 years now and don't want to ever leave.
Continues, but it's pretty fun.
I would, I'd be lying if I told you that I'm not potentially interested in Texas. And New York City, dang. I got a, here, let me pause this for a second. I got a very, very good friend that he's got some siblings, and one of them just moved to Houston from New York City. He got approved to work remotely, so not a bad place to live, right?
Into our November live stream for charity for Extra Life.
We're thinking about it.
Saw some
We're considering it.
Actually, you're going
No.
to see the in-game model of these ancients, modeled by
But there's just some logistics we'd have to figure out now and then work or not. But otherwise, maybe
captures kind
might
of
be joining you.
behind there's a whole host of different castes that exist with ancient kind of hierarchy. So you're going to see radically different
I got
representations.
siblings. My other siblings, the rest of them are a few hours south of me here in San Diego. I don't think so either. Probably not. I mean, I want to live quality of life, and I can live, at least from a financial perspective, I think we believe we can live a higher quality of life. And I have my brother and his wife's family, which is pretty big over there, so it's definitely something to think about, and I think that the timing is good. My son is in high school and I want him to finish, and he's going to finish next year, so we'll see. We will see.
Give you a little bit of context. So as you know, we had the testing this week. There's about 70-ish square kilometers of playable space within this Alpha 1 testing. So
Okay, 70-ish. So last month in the last video, he said he thought maybe 100, so 70.
I think that's 10 times the Skyrim map.
My son is 17.
Additionally,
So my wife, he was.
about this kind of area is there's a lot of water.
So yeah, I mean
in this part
I probably look a little younger than I am. So I'm close. I'm close to the big 40. I'm close. I'm close to that.
The total playable area of Ashes of Creation launch is going to be over 400. So it's a nice chunk.
But my daughter is 5. She'll be 6 this year. So
Normal disclaimers that this is
I said 37. Not quite 38. So
these are not
38.
finalized, character models and armors and effects and UI. All of this stuff is still a work in progress. But the great thing about a transparent development is that you can go back in time, literally, on our YouTube, take a look at where the project was a year ago and a year before that, and how things progress.
yeah, see, that's what I'm doing right now. Exactly what he just said.
What the process looks
Not the age of
like
my brother
on
before
a
me.
daily basis as it continues forward. And that's, I think, I'm sorry, I'm not crazy.
Yeah, honestly, the median age for gamers nowadays is like mid-30s. So it's pretty normal for someone my age and whatnot to play. And I mean, if you checked in on me 20 years from now, you'd see that I'd still be playing. So, game for life. Been playing since I was 5. So a few decades already, and got a few more to go.
Where we're at right now, I'm pretty excited about how things turned out for this test. Obviously, we have a long way to go, but I mean, I think you can see the shape of things.
I'm definitely interested to hear how the test went,
Really good, so
because that was between this last,
I don't know.
the November update and this one. So.
Not that I would know.
One last disclaimer I'll give is we do fight these bosses as just a party. It's intended to
Fair.
be a raid. So
Oh, my son was hooked since he was young.
Do very well, and I definitely cheated with some.
He was hooked.
Just to give you an idea, the reason why I
He loves him so much.
I
Yeah.
don't want to die repeatedly and give
Oh,
you that
absolutely.
perspective.
There's a lot of reason to look forward to this game.
I'd rather
Absolutely.
you guys get to see things, so
It's a ways off, but that's okay. I'm not in a rush. It's not like I'm.
all right, without further ado, we're
You know,
going to show you guys the.
There's so much to play nowadays.
And like I said, you can see it after the stream. We're going to come back to our normal update, but after the stream, we'll post it in a 4K version in all its might and glory. Check it out there. So, on.
Oh, okay. So we get the preview now.
We will not yet see you on the other side because I forgot to format the video.
Oh dear Lord.
So,
Let's see.
how about you talk about some of the
In-game preview. Here we go. I think I'd be fine with that. There's a lot of games that are in the works right now that I'm expecting in the next couple of years. So it's
everybody,
fine.
and welcome to another Ashes of Creation Alpha 1 development update video. Hope everybody out there is doing okay. I know we're fresh off the stream here, but we wanted to take a moment just to kind of give you guys a little update. I know I promised some footage of the Alpha 1 testing that was going on this last weekend, and boy, have we had some testing. It's been really awesome to see the
See how many
Alpha
people
1
they got.
testers come in
Is that all the people in their group?
help
1,
us
2,
over the
3,
weekend.
4,
It's been a
5, 6,
sleep-deprived
7.
weekend, but it's been very, very good. We've gotten a lot of progress. We've updated a lot of bugs that have been found, and
Have you seen all of these? Have you watched these streams? Have you seen them?
so huge kudos to them and to the testers as well.
Okay, have you seen
But
them already?
Today, I want to show you around the world of Era just a little bit. Got another 4K video, so hopefully you guys enjoy that. I am actually joined by some more people of our team.
In parts, okay.
You may recognize the very soft and elegant Peter. Peter, how you doing?
They have some highlights, some smaller videos that are in highlights, but I just
Peter's one of our
figured let me just watch the whole
producers
thing,
on the
you
creation
know,
project.
or yeah, most of it.
Keeps
You know.
the department sane with their schedules and our agile development, and puts in a lot of great
What's the
tasks
plant?
to Jira.
Yes, I think so because I
We
think
also
they said
have,
boss
joining us,
footage.
our
Yes,
famous
so this
and
is probably
amazing
yeah.
Lieutenant Toast, aka Sarah, senior community manager. How you doing, Sarah?
I'm great. I'm the opposite of soft. I'm very crispy today on
Oh,
my
that's
tiny
right.
toast.
You're a toast. I didn't think about that. We also
She
have
likes little people
our
like me.
lead programmer, Kevin McPherson. You guys might remember him
Yeah,
from.
let's move past this. Let's see if we can get some of that footage.
We also have 3 other program ancients or something.
Let's do this.
Let's
I
fight
think we
the
can do it.
ancients.
Let's do it. Let's
Honestly,
do
I
it.
think we're gonna have to cheat a little bit. So Peter and I have upped our health because these are intended for like a full raid.
Steven loves upping his health. He's a cheater.
You
He's a
guys might have
chet.
seen,
He's already shot. I can tell which
up
ones
on Twitter
have upped their
the other day
health
in
because they're in the
Discord.
thousands. Apparently that's a lot.
And you likely heard some of the lore behind the ancients, so we'll take you around this new area. What you're seeing here is one of the new, actually, so you can see, used to be Alpha Zero Island was kind of this area here, and now we've included this whole other area
Wow.
of the Alpha 1 testing map, which probably accommodates, I would say, about 65 to 75 square kilometers of testing space for this first pretest. Obviously, that
It's pretty
grows
good.
as we
He said it would take about half an hour to go
Right,
on
so
a mount
where are we
from
going?
one side to the other.
Yeah, we're going
It's
up
pretty
this
big
way.
space.
We follow this road, yeah.
All right, let's see what happens. Let's see
Peter,
them get wrecked.
Thank you.
Yeah, this one's the Shell of the Ancient. He's got a cool design pattern on his back, which you get the whole galaxy in it.
Yeah, Peter doing real,
I like the otter mount.
really
That's very cool.
quick turns with that guy. He like turns on a dime.
He's really nimble, surprisingly.
I just have this horse. I think it's up here, right?
Yeah, I
Mhm.
think so. As long as these birds don't root me.
Gosh, the lighting. You guys might notice that some of the lighting has changed just a little bit. I'm adding some of these God ray effects. Oh, sorry. I love it. I think it looks great.
Yeah, I definitely love the way the light and shadows kind of filter through the trees, especially in this jungle area. It's beautiful in here.
All right. Honestly,
They look friendly.
yeah, they look friendly. I don't know if we're gonna be able to take them.
67,000 life?
Certainly try.
Oh my god, it says 10 plus.
Peter,
My
what do you
lord.
think? You want to grab one of them and then I'll grab. Okay, you guys might notice there's some areas here that have like fire or whatnot. Let me just see. I think they might be
Don't stand in the bad.
damage. No. Oh,
Yep,
Okay, so
taking
yeah,
damage. That's probably why you don't want to stand in it.
I think these bosses might put down some like obstructive crystals that hit your mana.
That's
so
what
be
happened.
careful of that also.
I just got mana.
Oh, is there
leached.
two of them?
I know. Peter, you want to grab the one who rends the sky, and I'll take
Yep.
the guy who sunders the land.
Yep, yeah, I'll pull him left.
Oh boy.
All right, guys. I see Adam is levitating. He's getting ready to lay down some spells from the air. Well done, Adam. All right, he's back on the ground.
I was getting ready to throw down some like air raids.
Nice. All right, we'll pull in 3, 2, 1. All right. Oh God, Peter, I'm sorry.
Oh.
I thought
Good
I
job,
was- I
Tank.
thought it was
You're not
full.
doing a very good job holding
I'll go
aggro
get
there.
away with him.
All right.
Oh,
Healers,
Andrew
keep
Agger.
us healed.
Generate some more threat. Are you not a tank?
Alright, Let's focus the land. Focus the land guy.
Yeah, focus on land. I'll pull Skyway.
After that.
God, I cannot get him off you. Is that you, Adam?
Yeah.
All right, you take. Healers stay on Autumn.
I have my tank buff up, but I'm gonna need some mad healing.
Healers on Autumn.
Look, the good news is we've got him down at 99.5% of his total health.
Oh God! Oh no! Okay, back to the land.
That seems pretty bad.
On the land guy.
So why was he doing that and he's not tanking?
These heals are great.
Looks like the low-level world boss you see in Star Wars The Old Republic on the first planet you quest on after you leave the starting zone. Not their actual look, but their health.
Alright, oh, that's it.
Yeah, I played a little bit of Star Wars The Old Republic. I don't remember that specifically though, but I'm going to take your word for it.
You said you could heal mana test?
Yes.
I can heal you as well.
Dang, someone's getting wrecked.
And I gave some to Roy.
And they've barely done any damage at all.
I can't target you.
I need some more heals. I'm down to 25.
Gave you some mana.
But he's just standing there doing it. He buffed all his health for nothing.
No, we're not. Oh, boy, I'm at 8 HP.
Adam's making progress. He's at 30 health.
Oh,
Good
he's
job,
dead.
Adam.
Oh, there we go. Good luck.
Oh no, Adam's down.
Are you saying that the raid is
It's a wipe.
Yeah,
It's
the,
a wipe.
The 40
Oh,
person
now he's
raid
over
is
here.
difficult
I'm gonna
for
pull
him.
mine to the other
Now
side.
it's on me.
Yeah, these things
Until
look
they start
brutal.
doing
They can
dailies.
fly and just they can chase you. You can't kite them at all. Oh, he's dead.
I mean, I'm trying.
He's gonna die.
just not interested in me.
He really liked me.
Because you're not a tank, dude. You're not generating threat. You're not using skills to generate threat. You'd have to do an absurd amount of DPS otherwise.
Yep, we're gonna get pulled
Oh God.
in both
Double
directions.
pull. There you
They pull you in and then they
Come on,
do
I'm
that. Yeah, this is a wipe. You guys are way in over their head.
Oh God.
Mana inbound for Derelict.
He was a good world
Can
boss
we
to
res
fight,
up,
and
Pyre?
it was most interesting to heal it when it was fresh, and we were all trying to figure it out. Yeah, sounds cool.
Derelict, I'm giving you mana.
Oh, dead.
There you go. The gift of the Magi.
Have some more.
But they're not doing any damage. What are they thinking?
Oh God. Oh my God!
Where'd you go?
I don't know. Flew me and threw me into
Oh,
space.
this guy pulled you. All right.
I guess they call him the sky because he goes in the sky. Oh, Derelict's down. Can we get
Well, you can
Derelict
actually
down?
see they've done a little bit of damage there. It's just so
I've
little.
got aggro on land.
All
What
right.
have you got land down to?
60 out of 67k.
All right, we're getting there.
We're going.
We're
It's
gonna-
happening.
Oh, Toast is gonna die.
Tank.
I
Toast is
don't
dead.
know why he doesn't want to attack me. All right, I got. I got him, but you're all dead.
All right.
We're running back.
Yeah,
Come
Trying to
back.
get there.
Now give him some time to do a little bit of damage so he builds up some aggro, for God's
You have that guy
sakes.
at 60. I have my guy at 63.
Really?
We're supposed to be focusing land, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
But I mean, I'm just tanking
I
this
was
guy
on
away
the
from you.
All right, I'm soloing him.
Yeah, how long is that gonna take you? 100 damage, 30, 10, 5, 20.
My guy's gonna pull in about
Yeah,
3
that's
seconds.
Oh no, land.
Oh,
just
no.
regened a bit. Land is regenning.
Yeah, I think
Oh
we've
my
got some
God!
heals.
All right, hold on, wait. He's regenerating a little.
Damage always seems to be lower.
Doesn't
Yeah.
happen if you take him close to like one of his
But that's okay. That's
Bad
fine.
fire pool.
I don't think they're supposed to be battling this thing.
I guess I should know.
That much health? No way. Doesn't seem like it.
Nah.
Unless you have a really big party.
Me.
For the kill.
One of the WoW
I
Street
have
players did
aggro,
way
though.
too much.
Did you watch the video on YouTube first?
No.
Well, yeah. I mean, in World of Warcraft, they've had to do a lot of stat squishes for that reason.
All right, we're doing good here. We're doing good.
Yeah.
Now that I have act.
Like, DS aggro.
Yeah, I think it's fine. It's just, is the battle manageable though? Like, can they?
You guys aren't gonna
Because, I mean, he's buffed.
Manning him down for Roy.
Lots of health to them,
DPS
and
is
if they
pretty-
weren't,
pretty epic.
there's no way.
55,000 more hit points to go.
Just use your weapon attack. You're cute. How did you get it, McPete?
Tank class.
Oh, nice. Using your aggro skill?
We're actually doing mad DPS right now. We got this.
Yeah, look at he's coming
If
down.
you're a cleric, make sure you're using your whip because that'll help get you mana back.
Look, they're all just meleeing him now. They're like, oh, it'll just be easier to do that.
Oh, I
Every
like
time
now
you
I
can,
need
get your
heals.
whip up.
I'm 20%. 10%.
Heal him. Up, dead.
Ah,
Because he keeps getting the aggro
a
back.
little late to that heal there, Roy.
They're not doing bad, though, since I think they said this boss is meant for 4. Okay. So it says 10 plus, so if it's meant for 40, then that's a little more understandable. But you need someone to...
Regen mana over time.
You need someone to be able to just keep the aggro, and then you need to be able to keep that person alive.
I'm right.
To be clear, we have clerics that whip people for mana.
I don't see anything unusual about this.
Well, gotta castigate the unbelievers, right?
Yeah. I can't target dead people
Wait,
to res them.
what kind of cleric are you?
Go a little bit off to the side of them.
The militant kind.
Yeah, it should be like right with that.
The 10 class guy's not getting a heal, it seems. Yeah, not enough. And he's not the one with all the health. Like, if they were going to cheat, they should have given one of the tanks the health.
Oh no.
Not the DPS. That would have made more sense, right?
Why can't I click their nameplates in the group to select them?
I don't know.
It could be a code bug. I don't want to admit it.
No, he's probably.
I don't want to admit it.
Oh god.
You get pulled by that one. Maybe position yourself. Yeah.
I mean, the other guy who's tanking the other one, he's doing a pretty good job.
Trying to pull him up. It's a good thing Peter and I cheated and gave ourselves a bunch of help.
Yeah.
Yeah. Benefit.
Why do I see them getting experience?
Stand in the preceding circle.
It said XP for doing certain things. You're getting XP when they're fighting.
Help. I'm doing okay here.
It's a pretty cool looking boss, don't get me
I
wrong.
got aggro again.
Man, it must be nice having that much HP.
It's pretty sweet.
It's pretty sweet. Oh,
Should have for that anyway. Or you could just take it. Sure, that works.
Throwing down him.
Pull it.
Medium.
could be the crystals.
Did you end up getting pulled out?
Oh, that's cool. So they're getting all the XP for that. Because look, it looks like they're level 10. Shows down here.
Oh, that hurt.
Level 10 and then
McPhee likes standing in the alley,
11.
so
So
okay.
I don't know. The bar seems full, so that's kind of weird. I don't know.
Alright, I got aggro. God, his regen is a little hot. Oh, got him to 40.
Okay. That would make sense. I think world bosses are very cool. Just because
How's Peter doing?
just encourages people to get together
Ours
and
is at 56.
for a battle, you know.
56? Okay. We're at 39 now.
I think more and more games are including
Oh, we
that,
got
and I like it. I like the social aspect. I
Everyone has
like
the
it,
right
you
amount
know.
of HP.
Yeah, this is a very, very legit fight.
Oh, I need heals.
Highway's going down.
They've got him down to like half.
More
you know.
mana, Roy.
Oh, 29 HP.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
Yeah, I didn't play enough of that game.
Oh, I evaded that.
I had a sibling that did, but I didn't. I think I got to like 20s, somewhere in the 20s, you know.
Back.
I don't remember how they did the
20
world
HP.
bosses.
21.
I'm hanging on. Trying.
It's really difficult
Or
to
you
target
can't
people.
zerg it with multiple groups. Only the
Yeah.
group where they can start. Yeah, that makes sense.
Somebody got pulled. We got another bitch.
They're trying to implement world bosses in Diablo 4 as well. And so far, from what I've seen, because I got to try it, because I went to BlizzCon 2019 and I got to play it.
I really like the.
I thought it was really cool just to get a bunch of people together and kill this giant boss.
Kind of chest cavity and the effects that are going.
It was actually very cool.
I love the
I liked it.
too.
Yeah,
Some people think, oh, I don't want to add that to the game, but I think it's a good feature.
Oh, yeah.
I like it.
This model, I think, was made by Keith Kovac. Jim Sanders did the effects. And the boss was designed, I think, was worked on
Yeah,
by Bucky
it's very cool.
and Chang.
And we only got to see one example of one, so.
Yeah, it looks fantastic.
Might have another design.
I did that. We waited in line 3 times to play because they had 3 classes.
Fan of the animation.
So we wanted to play all 3.
That's right.
So we did
Animation,
all
is
of
that
it
Alex?
3 times. My son and I, we
I
went.
think Alex and others. I mean, I think it was a team effort.
It was a lot of fun.
Contributing
It was.
different aspects of this.
I would do it again. It's just a fun experience, you know.
It's pretty solid.
And, you know, I knew my son would like it a lot too. So yeah.
Alright, we're almost down to 30.
I think if they did another one next year,
Oh.
that I probably would want to go. Because I imagine the game would be a lot closer to being done.
Yeah, I really enjoy admiring the beauty while it knocks me into the ground.
Remember to use your whip. It heals and gives mana.
Use your whip.
Speaking of skills, I think we have a mage video.
Didn't play Diablo much. I give my friend my account for playing through free D3. I played D2 a lot. So I'll definitely be playing D2 Resurrected because some of my friends are going to want to play. And my son has never played it, so he's going to get it. So he's probably going to get it for Switch, Nintendo Switch. And I'm going to get it probably, cause I think you can, so I believe you can play, it's not cross-platform, but cross-save, so I will probably get
One day in the future.
it on Switch to play with him, and
If there's
on
anything
PC
that
to
has
play with
gone
my
wrong
friends,
with
so
the
that
stream thus far,
we can play that. I did play about 1,000 hours of Diablo 3 as well.
From the past.
What are you guys talking about? This is
And,
live.
and I liked it, just it didn't have the same lasting appeal as for me as Diablo 2, although I like the combat and the fluidity better.
Did you have tacos today?
So I'm really pleased to see that Diablo 4 is looks to be a combination of the two. Like they're taking some strokes from both.
That was some excellent healing.
It looks like they've kind of got it down now. I'm gonna pace through here a little bit. They're burning him down. It's taken a while, but they've kind of got it. People aren't dying anymore.
We killed ours. I know what your guys have problems with.
Come on over here. And
Oh, the other group killed the other one.
Wait, what?
Peter,
Okay, I may or
That's
may
hilarious.
not have nuked it.
Okay. So just for the viewers, we have GM commands.
Yes.
One of them's called Nuke.
D2
apologize.
is a pretty good
Need their help
game.
over here.
I don't know how people played it currently
No, you guys
or
are
anytime
great,
recently.
but this guy
just
needs
because
to come down. I mean,
It just
he's
aged
killed
so
me at
poorly
least
with the way
8
it
or 9
looks and
times.
whatnot. I just
Yeah, but that's my
Just
fault.
got
I don't mind bad graphics, right, or just older graphics, but those types of graphics just did not age well. So, but the remastered version looks beautiful, like really good.
Yeah,
I just don't understand why they have to mess up a remaster, Warcraft 3, and just to get another one right. Like they could have, they ruined a game. They completely ruined Warcraft 3, which is such a shame. That was a fun game.
Where's the mechanic?
But, what can I say? They got it right with D2. They definitely got it right.
Black wall. Ouch.
I think it looks great. And it's coming out soon, so probably play it later this year when it comes out.
That's new.
What's that do?
Learn from experience, true. I can see that, but at the same time, I just keep thinking to myself, so... But the same, there's a pattern though. The same mistake again and again.
That ability he just did, you can dodge it like while standing next to him if you do it just right.
Oh, I mean, I don't do I don't do pre-orders anymore. Really, I don't typically support that, just because I just want to wait and see if they get the game right. So for that one, I waited, and I'm glad I did. Although you could have gotten a refund anyways, hence the nickname Warcraft 3 refunded they got. But
I think it's a
so
great
yeah, I
job.
never bought it or played it. I just saw it was a disaster.
Oh no, it's back!
The other one respawned.
Oh god!
Wow, the other
Kill
one
the Sundered
respawned.
one
Rip.
Sorry, watch out, don't hit.
Alright, I come. I'm so sorry, stream. I'm so sorry you're seeing Michi. I just don't want us to all get wiped.
What is he
This is for your
doing?
benefit. You can inspect and understand the mechanics, so when you face this guy,
However, you will lack the GFP.
D2 Resurrected, I don't think you'll have to. I mean, I still I don't see much of a reason to pre-purchase most of the time, unless it's like something like this, which I'm gonna be pre-purchasing this game just because. Eventually, just because I want to support the development and I want to participate in the beta, so that's a little bit different, you know. But generally speaking,
oh no!
whoa, he almost got thrown
Did you
off.
fall?
I'm literally at the beach now. Alright, let's get a kill steal here. You guys can handle that.
Come back! Come
That's what you get for cheating with the nuke. Yeah, that's true.
He uses that ability a lot. End of it.
I'm gonna skip this just a little bit.
Die.
Alright, here we go.
'Cause it's just taking him so long to run this guy down.
Watch out all the circles.
You don't get that pre-purchased is.
Oh, derelict of Big Pizza.
You know, I definitely hope that they. I expect them to do a Wrath of Lich King Classic. You know, I definitely expect that. You know, I just started playing Burning Crusade Classic last night, and my friends and I are.
8-5.
There's 3 of us, and we're going to be leveling, not. We decided to level and not boost, which I told them either way it was fine with me, and
A lot of circles
it's
again.
going to take a while, but that's okay. I've never played Burning Crusade, never played Wrath, never played Cataclysm. I didn't play Mist, didn't play. I started in Legion, so I would expect them to do Wrath, and I think Wrath is.
Alright, go stand in the bathroom.
So, like, a lot of people feel the same way you do. A lot of people. Burning Crusade and Wrath, I hear the most positive about. I really like Legion too. You know, that was my first one. I liked it a lot. I thought it was really epic. I love the raids, and
When's his friend?
the dungeons are super memorable. You know.
Oh my god, I can.
His friend's back.
Yeah, but you know what though? But dungeon spamming just
Oh
isn't
my God,
fun.
He's just sleepy. His friend is
That's
sleepy.
not fun. I don't want to do that. Like,
Pay no attention.
so I don't want to do that. I mean, we're definitely gonna do some dungeons, I'm sure, but I don't want to just sit there just spamming the same dungeon over and over. No. Just not. I've tried things like that. Just think, it'll be worth it. It'll save me time. Oh, it kills the experience for me. I can't do it. You know.
He's at 7.
So I'd rather just level the.
Oh, I found some.
I mean, I'm doing it in a group, so it'll be faster, anyways. And if I was doing it myself, I would have taken the boost. I wouldn't do it.
Oh, he's gonna reach out again.
I wouldn't do all that by myself. That would take way too long, especially as a mage.
Circles again, watch out.
It's not fun at all. But some dungeons, I did it to get the gear I needed to level. Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
6.
If there's something like noticeable like that,
Oh, he's gonna reach out
like a piece of gear that's like really,
Oh!
really that meaningful, then I can see
We
that.
have to save our onslaught.
Spamming till you get it, you know. But some people literally spam as soon as they can start doing dungeons. They'll do it all the way to the level cap.
You know, raid.
You know, I've done that in other games before. I have in the past when I was younger and had a little bit more tolerance for grindiness, and
Is that a 4?
oof,
Oh!
never again.
Alright, just throw down all your DPS now. Big damage. Let's go.
Like if my friends suggested that, I would say I'm down to do some, you know, and whatnot. But I just,
Yeah, just go watching it.
I wouldn't want to just be spamming nonstop. No way. I tell them that, guys, I don't want to do that. No.
Oh, you did it at the right time. I didn't.
Oh, there he goes.
No!
That is hilarious. He's lucky he landed in the water.
I got it.
Wow, that was a big pull right
God.
there.
He would have reset.
Yeah, for shame is level 40, you tend to spam
That's awesome.
armory and cap to get your full mail set. Well, that's
There's
cool.
tiebreakers down here. They look friendly.
Yeah, they knocked me down when I went down.
Oh god, they're not friendly. They're not friendly.
And you have to run a long way to get back. Far way away.
Don't worry, he's only now back at 8,000 health.
No, stop.
We're making
Stop
good
it.
progress.
Stop.
How long does he have to ride for? Several minutes just to get back.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, he probably regenerates because that way you have to do a decent amount of damage to burn him
Doing
down.
good. Sound it. Put. Mort up.
We got huge damage down.
Mort up.
Oh no!
Oh yeah, we fucking pulls us and just throws us into the rock instead of throwing us off the cliff.
2 o'clock right now.
See,
Anymore.
They still haven't killed this
Well,
guy.
that's because you're a traitor to us. And
Oh my gosh. The other one respawned again.
So
Everything's
well.
going
It's
swimmingly
really-
well.
Truth or
Okay, I'm
Dungeons is
nuking
good,
him,
but
I'm
no
nuking him.
more.
Wait for it.
Oh yeah, that's right. Classic dungeons take longer.
Okay, well done, everybody.
Oh, wait, hold on, I missed the nuke.
Hey, we did anymore. Oh.
Well, that's because you're a traitor to us and you killed us, so we had to.
And the other boss is back.
Oh,
Everything's
alright,
going
alright.
so
Everything's
well.
going
It's
swimmingly
really-
well.
Okay, I'm nuking him. I'm nuking him. Wait for it. Okay, well done, everybody. Hey,
Must be nice to be
we
able to
did
do
it.
that.
Very.
How long does a dungeon typically
Wow, you
take?
guys did great there. That was
flawless.
Like
flawless.
half an hour? More than half an hour?
What are these?
An hour plus? Like, how long are we talking? Oh, those.
man.
I think it's some kind of super soulstone thingy. I don't know what that is.
Kill command nuke. Yeah, he just typed in /kill.
Oh yeah.
It just died.
You can like loot them. Oh, so yeah, sorry about that, guys. This was intended for a little bit of a larger raid. We just thought we would come and try to do it, and yeah.
And it
But,
worked well.
Yeah.
Let's go to the environment art update.
And we have a bed.
It depends on the group.
It's a nice bed. Is that like a baby's bed?
Okay. Normal. Wow, really? So is that like fast an hour or is that average? So what's like fast? Like what's the range, you know? An hour, that's a lot. Really? 3 hours? Oh my gosh. I don't want to do that.
Is that a dwarf person?
Oh gosh, that's ridiculous.
Spiders can't get you?
I do not want to do that.
If it was a dwarf bed, I might need a ladder to get up there, though. Whole step stool.
Yeah, if I was a halfling or dwarf, how am I going to get on that bed?
It looks.
I have
it
to,
looks
like,
small.
hop up.
Maybe it's a. I bet you it's a crib. But the baby would. for
Baby's
sure
gonna fall out. Fast with a group, a level around 45 minutes. Okay, so 45 is fast. Dang, for shorter dungeons. Okay. I'm definitely gonna skip those longer ones. I'm gonna skip that. That's a raid, you know. Unless it's something I just want to experience. But I mean, I've already done.
The chair looks nicer. Is this Imperial?
Uh,
No, this is.
I've already done time walking.
I think it's
I don't know if you're familiar with time walking. If you played Modern in the last couple of expansions, but I've done time walking in. Not Classic, but in Burning Crusade,
Oh
Wrath.
yeah, it's very pretty.
I think I've tried all of them. I know I've done Mists.
Furniture.
I don't know about Warlords if they did that and Unleash. I don't know. So I haven't tried every dungeon, but if it's something just to like try it once, then sure, I'd probably be up for that. But otherwise, probably not.
Good call.
The long
Sarah.
ones give good
That's
gear.
right. So this is the concept process.
Of course, no one else would do them otherwise, right?
As they are going down that content path.
It's a pretty nice table.
Described, the concept artists are providing them with these concepts that they model then the in-game decor with, and they're utilizing these reference images.
Yeah, so I've probably done Cataclysm as well, probably.
These concepts. Thank you, sir.
I don't know if I've, because you know you would do 5 only, so I don't know if I've done every dungeon. Some of them went multiple
One of the
times, so I'm
great
not
things,
sure,
you know,
but
I think from a player customization standpoint when it comes to housing.
Yeah, the dungeon
Have
quests,
a
they give
wide
tons of
array
EXP.
available, like, decor
Because
that
you're
you
doing a
can
dungeon,
choose
which is good for
your
EXP,
home
and then you get the quests too,
right?
so.
It's not a cookie cutter presentation of freehold and node housing or apartment, but rather there's a diverse.
I swear I've
selection
had like a
of
table
furniture
just
that
like
can be
this,
created
like in
to
real life. I've had a table like that.
make something your own.
Make it your own, tell your own story. There's a couple of games that have done this really well.
Oh,
Never
time walking started in Cata. Oh, okay.
Across,
Wow, they started offering that long ago.
So take a look at
Well,
some
that's
of
cool.
the things that they've allowed in that game, and we're going to take some inspiration from that as well.
Ooh, bunk bed.
Yeah.
The hope
and your
is
friends.
that at the end of the day, there'll be people who just customize other people's homes.
I just remember, like, from Legion to BFA, I did all the dungeons many times in Legion, and then in BFA,
What? Oh, this is nice.
not so much.
This is a creation video of, I believe, the Firefox.
Yeah, I think we're going into the character art stuff now, so this should
Oh
be
wow,
the creation
they're
video.
showing us how they do the details.
Who did this guy?
Look at that, look how much different it looks now.
I want to say Jinsey was working on this one, but maybe someone in our channel can ping me.
Ooh, very cool.
So this is the box of the pyre.
Dude, this is what I was talking about earlier in stream when I was just here talking about myself.
This was a cosmetic.
Was that wow, look at that.
Look at that model.
Look at that. That's actually very beautiful. You know, and look at all the extra hair, the detail. It's just, when you're not a developer like myself, you really learn to appreciate, you know, the time and energy that these people have to put in just for a singular model or creature or NPC or something. It takes a lot of work. They started hinting. Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah. Oh, this fox is beautiful. Seriously. Especially if I'm a little person, a dwarf or halfling, this looks great, you know.
Love that model.
Love it. Fit with me just perfectly.
Yeah, that tracery is just so cool looking.
That's
Thank you for
sweet.
confirming. Yes, it was Jinsey that worked
Seriously.
on this one.
And guys, what you're seeing here is not a concept piece. This is the model itself, the in-game model.
And next step's already get it animated.
I love the complement, the colors too, and it just looks like it's on fire. Because I mean, that's what it's supposed to. It looks badass. And then the little intricate details, like it's almost like it's been sculpted, like drawn on. It's very cool.
It's okay, that fox is beautiful.
Yeah, we'll just
I can
do
look at it all day long.
I love the fur texture on it.
We've got some trolls.
Ooh, troll variants.
Yes. This looks like a...
There's a lot of different takes on trolls. This is an interesting one. Usually they're either like thinner, kind of like the World of Warcraft ones, or they can be like really heavy in their upper torso.
Oh, does he have like little skulls on his belt?
This one's pretty muscular though.
Kind of looks like he does. Yeah.
Look at those triceps.
And a gourd.
Yeah, he was a forest troll. Here's a Dunir cloth sculpt. Some of the
That's cool.
cloth and furs.
Oh, that looks nice and warm, like perfect
Yeah, you
for
got it.
snowy environments, mountainous environments. You've got the fur bits and pieces.
By the way, I would like to point out we have heard your feedback on the Dwarven Race, the Dunir race, and you will be seeing some character models that are beefier, a little bit beefier, more traditional.
Oh, I like that. I love dwarves. I like me some dwarves. It's always nice to see people acknowledging feedback.
This is a Dunir plate set.
Yeah, I'd like to see. Yeah, I'd like to see the torso a little, just a tad bit larger,
Hatching, it looks like a plate.
just a tad. Maybe they could just allow people to customize it, like if they want them a little larger or a little smaller, you know.
Oh, this one's a great one. This one is the
Overlord anime trolls.
Corvid Castigator.
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Look at
I'm
this
such a big
model.
fan of this.
You know what this looks like to me?
Looks great.
Since you know WoW.
Oh, we
This
just
looks
got
like
this?
Medivh's
We'll be
outfit.
picking that up relatively
Alright.
soon.
Oh,
Doesn't that remind you of Medivh? Because he transformed into that raven.
Look really good. And then we have. What's this guy's name?
If it's who I think it is,
Is
it's
it
a
the
noble
Noble
warhorn.
Warhorn?
Noble Warhorn.
Oh,
I love that armor. It's so good.
Very cool. Very cool.
Look at his little tail.
You better have some nice transmogs for the mounts.
His tail straight out.
Oh, you were about to say the Medivh thing? Yeah.
Reminds me of my dog's tail.
So this is the first thing I thought of.
It's just a little on the warty side, but
No, he looks very good. Who did this one?
apparently we really like putting warts on butts. Because
Is
that's
this-
not the first creature I've seen with one there.
Was this Danny? Did Danny do this? I think Danny did this one. Alright, well I think that's mainly
Yeah.
it for...
Yes, Danny did that one, confirmed.
I think this is it for the character team. So great models coming out of the character team. And we are now on to Q&A.
Q&A. Okay, we got some time for Q&A. I'm starting to get a little hangry, but I'm gonna finish up here. Let's.
These questions come from our forum.
How much we got?
post up about
Oh yeah, we
these
can.
before
I
the
can
stream,
finish
so
this stream
asking
off.
you
I
all
can
to
finish
share
this.
your questions with us, and we go through all of those and pick out 10 random ones that we haven't answered before, and get to those. So if you don't,
I'll
hear
be
your
lurking,
question
responding
on
when able
stream,
to.
We'll still get around to you after
Okay,
the
cool.
forums to
Yeah,
issue
I mean,
your
I'm gonna
answers
finish
there
here in
as
about like
well.
15ish minutes or so.
So
But
we've got a couple questions
thanks
here
for joining,
about-
and I will be
so we'll start
back
on those.
tomorrow again. You
This
know,
question
to
comes from
work some more on this because I want to have my research done by next week. So,
Will guilds and alliances have the option
what
of
subject do I
permanent or
teach? I
long-lasting
teach
wars
early
with
education,
guilds and alliances?
so child
Or
development.
will the guild war system only allow for shorter objective-based conflicts?
I'm also qualified to teach psychology. I just haven't been
Wars.
fortunate enough to have that opportunity just yet. But I would like to teach psychology as well. That would be great. It'd be very interesting to me.
And those will vary across the different wars, depending on the level of your guild, the level of the opposing guild, and different assets that those may have help to dictate
12:30.
the objective.
So I'm going to be streaming Monday through Friday.
Here's another one in regards to guilds
M-
asking.
Most of the time. That's the plan. Monday through Friday, 12:30 to 2:30, and then I stream again in the evening.
Guild invite across
So your time. So that's Pacific Standard Time. So that's my time here. You're Central. You're a couple hours ahead, right?
in that interface.
So it would be 2:30 your time, 2:30 to 4:30, and then in the evening I'll be streaming when I play with my friends during the week. That'll probably be Sunday through Thursday, sometimes Friday, but maybe not. From 8-ish to 10-ish, maybe a little later on some days. Than that, that meeting will end later than that. So it'd be like around 10-ish your time. So I'm gonna be doing that now since I have the time. I didn't have the time during the semester to stream during the day, but now I can. So
There might be some functionality through the launcher and or web systems that allow you to add an account as a friend, but we haven't determined for sure if that's the case yet.
oh, you're a social worker. Okay.
Another couple questions here.
Psychology is very interesting. At least I find it that way. But you know,
Michael asks,
I mean, there's a lot. I think is if you're doing something that's fulfilling for you,
for
that's
example, can they be
something that's
siege
meaningful.
during
Right? I think that's the right word, meaningful. Right?
No, sieges are
And for me, educating future educators is meaningful. So
you go through a quest
That's what I
to
do.
obtain a declaration
I
item.
educate
That quest
future
will
educators.
be determined by the level
Sometimes they're current educators, and I'm just
sieges
adding to their knowledge. But yeah.
essentially. And once you have the item, then you may declare against one specific node of that quest line's level or lower.
Alrighty. Next up, also related to node sieges, this one's from Nostra, who asks, when a node siege has been declared, can that node gain or lose XP during the declaration period and thus advance or atrophy to a different
so the declaration
I do
period
too.
does not
The mine is
inhibit the node's ability to
very, very
utilize
interesting to say the least.
experience. It's something that we were thinking about in the past of doing, but given the length of time that declaration periods can become based on the node level, it's a number of days equal to the stage of the node. So Metropolis is a 6-day declaration period. A city is 5.
So it's really interesting. They're talking about like
That would be a
declarations.
significant period of time and could be utilized as a method by which you essentially have false flags.
So you can't just go and attack something on a whim. You have to declare, I guess. Well, not everything. Not like a node, which kind of makes sense. There should be time to prepare and whatnot.
When it comes to how nodes interact with each other, so not going to.
It's a very interesting concept. Very interesting.
During the declaration.
Got it. Okay, next up from Jayesh, I believe, or J58 on the forums, and this is in regards to animations. They're asking, will every race have their own style of combat in terms of animations?
That'd be real expensive. We would love to do something like that, but we would need several hundred animators to make that happen. But we will have things that are known as sort of like racial abilities, which will key into the class that you've chosen, and those will almost certainly have animations that are kind of like one-offs that are associated with that class. Will help you get some more like, you know, some more Renkai flavor or some more Empyrean flavor, but we have to reuse animations as much as possible in order to get to the finish line here. So
Yeah, that makes
it'd be a
sense.
super nice thing to do.
That would be incredibly stupid if they could do that. So I'm glad that they're doing it that way.
It's from Tyrantor, and it's in regards to death penalties. And they are wondering, what will death penalties be inside of objective?
I want to try to think of some good questions to potentially ask for next week. But I want to be caught up first, right? Something maybe that someone hasn't asked, you know?
The penalties are in the outcome of the event. So your number of deaths is likely going to impact your ability to win that particular event, and that's going to be the penalty. And this is to encourage players to opt in to the events, right? Because the more participation we have, the more fun it can be. And we understand that the community at large, there's already a risk versus reward component to these events. We don't need to stack on additional risk versus reward to inhibit kind of to increase the barrier to entry for players who may not be as interested.
Totally. All right. Hakaiju asks a question regarding gear stats. This is kind of branching off from a question that was asked last month. Will the values of stats on dropped gear be random to some degree for each item? For example, I may get a sword that's plus 83 stamina, and then another time when the same sword drops, it's plus 93 stamina or something like that.
Yeah, most certainly. So, individual item stats, those are a variable essentially, right? And
I'm sure he did. You know, and it's on my to-do list. Because I know he's had some more close work with some of them, so I got some homework to do, and I also have.
From those tables as well.
Here, hold on.
It's not going to be cookie cutter the same kind of item across.
Where did I put it? Right here.
And that plays into our crafting system.
Here, hold on. I have this. This is on the Massively OP website, and see, it's drops the verbal NDA, triggering deluge of public tester feedback. And so on here, there's a lot of videos about people's impressions and whatnot, and now they can talk about it. So I'm gonna make I want to have a react video where I watch these reviews, and maybe on one of the streams, and kind of just get some more raw feedback from some other people. So that is something I have planned to do. But I want to finish my research first.
The idea is for those stats to be
finish that first. So work first,
based on the mastery level.
then you can do the reacts after.
The higher they become a master of those sessions.
So I have that slated. I have that on the side.
Or for accessories, they're going to have some agency and put their mark on essentially what items they're introducing into the economy as well.
Got it. Okay, our next question from A Life in Symmetry is in regards to mounts. Will there be a different default mount for each race, and what might they be?
Oh, I like that question.
So by default mount, the way I view that is essentially the quest lines that kind of grant your initial mount when you come into the game. That in and of itself will reflect the area, the starting area, and which races those quest lines are. So yes, in a way there are racial mounts because each starting area will have a different quest line that will yield a different type of starting mount. But by default, you don't just choose, human and here you get a horse, so to speak, because you can be a human in our game and choose to start in a different racial area, at a different divine gateway. And as such, then you could follow the quest line that gives you, the orc mount. But that's how I would describe racial mounts, is based on the starting area and which.
So it kind of gives you some choice. Okay.
Reflects, and then that quest line
I like that.
Well,
I think so.
there's definitely a level of
I think
clarity
that's fair.
there as well. If you're like, I don't like horses, I want to be cool.
Oh, for sure. And then the other
Why not?
thing to note is that the way the mount skins work is you can take a base tier mount, apply a skin, and radically change the appearance to it completely.
Very cool. Very, very cool. I think people are going to love that.
Our next question
People
from
love
Ernest
that.
and
People love their
Mermaid
mounts.
asks,
They want to look cool.
Will there be daily login rewards? So not daily quests, but a calendar. that
Daily
looks up,
login?
You logged in for one day. Have a potion.
I think so. I mean, I don't know, not a potion.
Or-
But here, have a weapon. No, I'm just kidding. And buy this exclusive login chart. You have the premium plan. No, I'm just kidding. There's not going to be any of that.
I don't think we need.
It's cool to have like a login reward feature.
No, I don't think so. I don't think they need that.
Something that is.
I don't think they need that. Well, why do you need a motivation to log? Just let me just quickly log in so I can get that login.
End of the month reward.
That's for I feel like that's more appropriate for mobile games and whatnot. I don't think you need that for this kind of game.
You get that cosmetic, and that's a cool collector's, component. I'm a huge cosmetic collector, and I love stuff like that. The more ways you can diversify the obtaining path for specific cosmetics across different gaming systems, whether that be logging in.
Yeah, it just the thing is
society stuff, guild-driven thing, whatever it is.
it's easy to say now, and look, these guys are hardcore gamers, and they obviously love what they're doing, and they're very transparent, It's just that the reason why so many companies have fallen under that umbrella is because it's just so difficult to see others around you raking in all this money. It's so difficult to do that and not get greedy. People just tend to get greedy. But at the same time, I know that, a lot of money has been put into this game, and it from other, personal money. So I'd like to believe that wouldn't happen here, but I don't think you need a login. You don't need a login reward. You log in because you want to play. That's your reward.
That would be a complementary.
The game should pull you in enough. You don't need that.
System, but that might be a good chat post for our discussions.
A good dev discussion.
Yeah.
That might be one of the topics you see pop up for next year, so we'll keep an eye out for that one. All right. Like I mentioned, last question here. This one is from Langatang. And in regards to the day-night cycle, when we look up at the stars, will the sky be static every night, or will we get to see variation in the night sky?
Ooh.
So there was a whole lot of stuff I wanted to do with that, but the tech involved is let's just say it might be a stretch goal of ours, but I think kind of where we're at right now, I don't know. You speak to it, Steven. I'm not exactly sure how far along things are, but
on the night sky.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's possible, and this is something I know super early on we were talking about from a constellation standpoint, but I think it's possible that based on the specific zone, we can have unique night skies, right? So it might be something interesting to play with. It's definitely not a high priority, but I know there's some work being done currently on the night sky systems that Brian, I think, is working on. And that might be an investigative task. If it's possible, I think it adds. If it's pretty much possible without expanding significant scope or major issues, I think it adds a cool component to the immersive nature of the world.
I think it does too.
You know, it'd be a cool thing to add.
I think if they can pull it off, I would do it.
It's one of those things like I wanted to tie that into some quest stuff and maybe some events, but in terms of bang for buck, it's pretty low priority. So
yeah, it would be super cool if you could have like a constellation related quest thing at the library of the scientific nodes, where the camera's vector and position in the night, like as a player, if you look up in a certain direction in the right zone, right, and that satisfies like a quest requirement, and you can do like exploratory constellation work across the world, I think that would be a really fun thing to do.
That would be cool.
Sounds pretty nerdy.
Sure, as they are stargazers.
They are. And the night sky on Vera is very different from the night sky on Sanctus, and how those two things relate might be interesting.
I'm out of questions. Well, I have more, but how many moons will be in the night sky?
Hey, we haven't revealed that. I remember that question from a long time ago. Yeah, we'll find out.
Keep it secret? Okay. Alright, those were the 10 questions we had from our community. Thank you guys so much for going ahead and dropping those on the forums. Like I mentioned, if we didn't get to your question during the stream, we do go back and read up an answer for you with all of the ones that we have answered before. Or if we haven't gotten to it, we'll let you know, hey, save it for next time, and let us know so we can take a look at those.
So you got to write a question on the forums.
I gotta
Okay.
say, I really liked seeing all of the passionate voices on the daily login thing, so we'll have to we're going to need to prioritize that dev discussion for our next one, because it'll be fresh.
There we go, our January dev discussion will
Boom!
be about daily login rewards. Done.
Yes.
Check.
We have to be clear though, the daily login rewards I'm talking about are entirely cosmetic and are not an additional purchase point. So those would be it would be a part of everyone's subscription. But yeah, so
I still stand by. I don't think they need that, but
you can do veteran rewards for, right? So maybe we change the form of it, or maybe we come up with something entirely new that isn't onerous but also rewards people for sticking with us. So
absolutely. All right, guys, I think that's the gist of our stream. Holy moly, I think we made it through with me being the captain.
I wouldn't want to feel left out if I couldn't play for the day.
We made it to the end. We made it.
So,
We're here.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
No, just kidding.
Okay, that's it for that one. So we gotten those two down. Let's refresh the page. Check. So now we got January's environmental one. This one's an hour and a half long, and then Alpha 1 preview gameplay. Didn't we? No, that's going to be here. So we have those two. So maybe tomorrow I'm going to go through these two. Yeah, I think that's a good way of putting it. Force February. I do hope they don't do that. Just there's a long time between now and release, so let's give them our feedback and tell them no, don't do that. It's just, yeah. I think I'm going to cover these two next, and then from there, wow, April update. Let me see. From there, it's just this one. So it looks like I only have a few more videos here to cover. So let's see. This is 3, 4, 5. Okay, good. That means that I'll have these all done by early next week. On Monday, I should be able to finish them off, and that means that'll give me some time to go over some of those no NDA reactions next week. So I'll be able to look more so at people's Alpha 1 reactions. So, okay. Yeah, I'm going to get that done. Sounds good. And then from there, there's definitely more to look at, but that's kind of the more urgent stuff, and then we'll have that stream next week, and yeah, looking forward to that. It'll be my first time I'll be able to attend. I'll just be able to actually be present. So my stream time will be a little earlier that day. It'll be centered around the stream that day. So, okay, all right. Well, 2:30. I gotta go make me some lunch and watch an episode of anime while I'm doing that, and then help my son with something else too after that. So that's gonna be it for me today. Thanks for joining me, Saint, and I'll be back tomorrow. So if you'd like to join me tomorrow, come by. Otherwise, I'll be posting this. I'm going to be posting all these videos on my YouTube channel after the fact. So those will be available. My part 1 is going live tomorrow, part 2 Monday. So there'll be part 3 on Tuesday. Wednesday will be part 4, and then part 5 Thursday. And yeah, we should be ready by next week. Have a good one. Same for you. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.